I am Tamara Leigh of Blaque magazine, and I am sitting down with Jason Rodriguez. We are so excited
Thank
to
you for having me.
First of all, it's always a joy to talk to a New Yorker.
Okay.
Now,
part?
I'm from corny upstate, so
What's corny
don't
upstate?
play me. Rochester.
Okay, I live in Yonkers right now. So
okay, so you're
I understand.
so you feel me with the upstate movement.
Yes.
Okay, so but Washington Heights, right?
Yes,
Originally?
born and raised, parents from Dominican Republic.
So dope. Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
We all know, living in the world of intersections and intersectionality, in this queer experience, when you come from families of color, it's a different conversation. So what was that experience like for you?
My experience growing up in a Latinx household was, I felt the indifference of myself. I knew myself being queer and gay without even knowing what it meant, if that makes sense. I was just actually previously saying that the first time I actually was identified as being gay was by a bully. And I didn't. Crazy? I'm like, what? What am I?
What is that?
I'm like, how do you know this?
Right.
Now is my question. But I would say it was pretty hard because I didn't have access yet to the ballroom scene.
Yeah.
I didn't have access to the community. That wasn't until high school, actually. I was part of a program called Hispanic AIDS Forum, where they took queer youth to Queens and provided classes on HIV prevention and information about HIV, AIDS, STDs, being community. They gave us a stipend, they gave us food, and then they took us to the center to try to learn how to shake our ass. Like these team parties from like 5 to 7, and we're just like not knowing what we're doing, but having that space.
Yeah.
And you know, I can never put blame on my parents because their upbringing didn't give them access to how to raise a queer child.
Absolutely.
That's the reality of it, but it still didn't make it any easier. I would be at home, kind of only kid, navigating my attraction to men, being on AOL chat, being on Adam for Adam, again in the unknown of it all. So it felt very lost. I feel like I was just a gamer. I wasn't even a dancer yet. And just like all these questions of like, why are people so oppressive towards me? Why are people being so mean to me? What does me even mean?
Right.
But then it was when I went to SUNY Brockport, actually, right next to your city. So not a lot of people know this. They always think that I just went to SUNY Purchase and trained. But my first year, because I didn't get into a lot of good colleges, I got into SUNY Brockport.
But there's a dance program.
Yes, but I wasn't even a dancer yet.
Really?
But the dance program, my friend Jessica, she was a part of the program, and she invited me to see her show, and it was the first time I saw concert dance.
Yeah.
2 people dancing on a bench and expressing, and I was just in awe. And another friend of mine up in Purchase, David Covington, I better know these names.
Okay.
He did a whole Single Ladies when that came out. He did a whole performance in the dance building, and I'm just like watching realms of expression coming from a place so introverted and so oppressed, and just being in my video games and like being in this unreal world.
What is transition from like video games that are so like to something like dance that's so expressive?
What is that transition?
Did you find freedom there?
I did. I feel like I found my body more. Because I feel like in a video game, our mind is set to the story in front of us, or what is your accuracy, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I feel like then that was me visiting myself. Now I'm not just playing somebody's story that's on a CD. So now I'm actually tapping into my body, seeing my legs, seeing how I move, seeing myself, hearing my voice. To be very honest, I felt everything about me was just like closed out. And transitioning to dance, I feel like it was so hard. It had so much anxiety into it because I'm here like freaking dancing with people who have been trained.
Which is crazy because it looks so natural for you.
Thank you.
Like I've seen old videos of you, but they look so natural.
Thank you. But it was through like pressing forward, and it was this obsession of wanting to express that I stayed in those rooms and kept training and take ballet and take modern just to find my body to be able to express. So it went from like just like all these valves shut to then all of them just slowly opening through transitioning from gaming, which I still do, into dance.
Okay, so then the transition again into acting.
Yes.
Was the Get Down your first major role?
You better know.
Okay.
Yes. Get Down is my first role. I got that through Jose Extravaganza, thankfully. That's when I first met India, my sister. That was the second time I worked with Dominique. And then I worked Saturday Church, the film. I was a voguer on that. And that's where I see MJ. And I see India again.
Wild. I'm obsessed with India. I've met her. She's so, like, such
sister.
A beautiful person inside and out.
Yes.
It's unreal. She, like, floats.
Yeah.
Like, she just, like, floats. She's incredible.
That's my mommy. That's my girl. But, and then...
How did that feel? Because you made that transition to dance, which obviously is expression. It's all art. But acting is something different. That's almost the opposite, where you're like expression, but you're really embodying this whole other character. Like, what was that like for you?
So when I was in high school, all boys Catholic high school.
Ooh.
I know. It was cute till it wasn't. And then I was in the drama club.
Yeah. And
we're here doing Shakespeare. Our teacher, Miss Authonreath. And we're doing things like A Midsummer's Night Dream, Macbeth, The Tempest, and who is gonna play the girl roles. And I'm like, this is my moment to explore femininity, to maybe publicly see myself and others see myself.
Yeah.
So I was getting up in wigs. I was Lady Hermia in A Midsummer's Night Dream. I was Lady Macbeth in Macbeth. That. Yeah, The Tempest. I forgot who I played, but probably a fairy. But I was so in it. There was something about it that the all eyes on me, I said, I deserve these all eyes on me. I don't know why people might be looking at me and not enjoy what they're seeing, or they might be captivated at what they're seeing.
Right.
But the feeling to be seen felt strong, and it felt right through an artistic embodiment. So I was first doing acting, and then I actually auditioned for SUNY Purchase for the acting conservatory, doing my whole Lady Macbeth monologue, and they said, hell no. Then I tried twice for the dance conservatory of dance. They said no. All they did was just let me take classes, and I majored as arts management.
Which I'm sure is in the long run come in handy.
Yes, it will. When I open that dance studio in Uptown Manhattan, when I get that dance studio. But the transition, I felt like, so when I was doing the Get Down and I was doing Saturday Church, I was voguing. So all that felt comfortable. And then season 1 of Pose, I honestly saw it as a dancer job. I didn't see it as a role yet. I'm like, oh yeah, I could vogue, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then it was the 3 mega hitters of Michaela J. Rodriguez, Billy Porter, and Angelica Ross. And I'm like, yo, what are they doing? They're not saying the lines that were on the paper. What is this? And I'm like, they're embodying the character.
Right.
Angelica, all the movement she does is Candy, like as her character.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they doing? You know, ad-libbing, just embracing the character. And then season 2, I started embracing my character. I'm like, this is this shady ass butch queen. This is that butch queen from the 80s and the 90s that was oppressed, that was that only enjoyed like voguing, that was not able to show his feelings. And then season 3, I really embodied that shit because people were mad at me.
Might as well make it count at that point.
Yeah, so I guess the acting, did what it had to do, but it felt through dance that finally my voice was opening up. It felt like knowing the movements of my body, getting to know myself, and then getting to know my voice. I felt like those were the tools then readying me to then jump into a character and act. Yeah. So I feel like the dancing, the other arts that I'm into, the learning about myself then allowed me to jump back into acting and get into that bag.
So the Get Down to Pose, both city roles, which is dope that you get to play all these like very strong like city characters. That's dope. Just shout out to Roots. Yes. So, but there's still a big that's a big jump in worlds there from the Get Down to Pose. Like, I know I always tell people, so I do advocacy and activism, like that was where I came from, and then public relations brought me to the magazine and whatever. But I've always found that like LGBTQ world is one of the few places where usually every single person who's working in the field is also from the community.
Yes.
Which is rough. You know, like if you work at Department of Human Services or Social Services, you probably go home to a different kind of world than the one that you're in all day long. LGBTQ world, queer world isn't so much like that. You're usually from the community. So it's like your day and your night and your social life and your job and your all of the things. So what was it like stepping into a work environment that, mind you, was retro, but embodied so much of like the world that you came from, and the, you know, because we all have the older girls that like show us the ropes and how this works. So I'm sure that the characters you saw in front of you reminded you of people that you had grown up with and ran with and whatever. So like, what was that experience to step into like a real but pretend world? Like, what was that for you?
First, when we were starting, we didn't know what we were doing. Like, this is a pilot. You know, when someone works a pilot, or maybe just us, we just felt like we were just working. We're doing these 12 to 16 hours of being around each other. I feel like that was a big plus of comfort. Like, I knew Dominique, I knew India, I kind of knew MJ. It felt very family driven to create this narrative, whatever it looked like. It was very exhausting, but I think it was very fortifying.
And
just
super
like
physical. I mean, you're not just delivering lines.
Yeah, I'm moving.
Yeah.
But I feel like all the things prepared me for it. Like taking classes, knowing how to warm up your body, knowing how to utilize your whole 12 to 14 hour day because you're not shooting the whole time. Still being a person. But I think seeing like the crew, seeing writers, seeing people, just like the whole set and the whole room being queer was very invigorating. But like you said, it's like coming to work and then it being
like going to work with
within
your
yourself. Yeah. But I kind of love that. It's giving like that Issa Rae shit. And I'm very about Issa Rae. Like the way she just like works her people. She's like, I don't need to wait
from the outside.
Like, and I learned so much from that, and I think Pose allowed me to learn a lot about that too, just like the opportunities I had during and after and even present time. How do I expand that to other folks that have never had this opportunity? But I'm gonna say it felt great. Then you watch an episode and then you get messages from people. You get messages from people in like in DR, like all over the world, and how excited and happy and grateful and empowered they are. It makes it so worth it.
That made me tear up.
I a little bit too. I was like, because I was just reminding. I'm like, shit, like people like where my parents are from, like saw India too. She's Dominican and Puerto Rican. People that maybe I've already kind of seen see me again. People who I've never seen see me as well and relates and see me and be like, oh, I'm Dominican and I'm queer too.
You're being the person that you didn't have.
I am.
Ah, that's incredible.
Yeah. And it doesn't make me feel regretful that I didn't have it. It's just my journey and my experience.
And now you know how to be that person.
Yeah. So that's why now I have fucking like 8. I don't know if I could curse or whatever. But I have like 8 kids now, like literally like from different spectrums. Yeah. Someone asked me, well, who's your favorite? I'm like, I can't choose because they're all different. They all have different personas. But that part is so rewarding. I feel like without having the sense that someone is viewing you and needs you and receives you, it really makes you look at yourself and be like, am I enough?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What do I look like? Am I ready to step up and be in somebody's life?
Right.
So many gifts from that show. So I would say those are the 2 big ones. How we've impacted the world and helped to fortify it.
Well, that's an interesting point. So we all know like pop culture has made its way into the ballroom for, how old are we now? So I don't even want to count back how many, like 40 years at this point. But every time that it kind of reached in, it like took pieces of culture and did what it wanted with it. And I think that there was always a sense that, like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, the world is going to see us.
Yeah.
Like, here, you know, finally, we're getting there. We're in the music video. We're in this song. They're using our beat. Like, they're, you know, they're pulling our DJs. This is it. Like, we're finally going to make it to the world. And then
it goes
we
back
know how
there.
that story ends.
Yeah.
I personally feel like Pose is the first time I've seen anybody do it right.
Yeah.
Where you have real people and real stories and dramatized stories. It's, you know, it's television, but it was true to, like, the heart of queerness and community and what ballroom is really about, which is family. I mean, it's art, it's beautiful, it's performance, it's a competition, but it's family. That's especially in New York.
Right.
Like, it's family. So how do you feel about that? Like, how did Pose get it right when so many other mediums have just not done it justice?
Yeah, I mean, one example that really, like, sometimes, like, I'm not gonna say harms me, but makes me sad. I watched the Strike a Pose documentary, and they were interviewing Jose's mom, and she always mentioned, like, oh, he's gonna get me this house. Like, I'm waiting for this house. And that just breaks my heart, because I'm like, damn. Like, you know, he's incredible. Jose Estrada's, like, an icon for all of us. For me, like, being a new wave voguer.
Absolutely.
But, you know, seeing those moments and then the questions of, like, damn, why doesn't his mama have a house? Those aren't for me to answer, but it's like, you know, that's already an example of maybe not enough of opportunity fulfilling to be given this reward.
Right.
Now, like, seeing, like, a music video just recently, like Daddy with Sexy Red and Tokisha, and seeing voguing, and Madonna coming back out and doing her tour and having voguing again, and Beyonce and the Renaissance tour, and there's even more ballroom. I love it. I do feel like Pose was the first time, even, like, seeing in the Village where everyone's sitting and watching this, you know, what's going on. We have ballroom consultants, like, people in positions that probably weren't positioned before. So that's why we have the just grab what you can and then go.
Yeah.
But now when we're given these positions, now we're raising up, and now we're sitting in the tables, in the conferences, and we're part of the meetings, we're part of the discussion. And I think that then allows us to stake and be stapled rather than just be utilized. Like,
that was a word.
Yeah.
That was a word.
Like Jack Gorgeous Gucci, like, he was a consultant on Pose, and then he was working Legendary.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, a voice in the ballroom scene.
Yeah.
And you see him, like,
so Legendary is a little controversial, though.
Yeah.
Because people feel like it's, like, you know, watered down version of real ballroom. So what do you think? Is it the fact that, I mean, there were legitimate ballroom folks. Yes. I mean, like, that was a real thing. And it's another form of exposure, so more people can become familiar with the culture. Yeah. But, like, how do you feel? Like, is it too much? Is it, like, oversaturated at this point, or is it still just pushing forward the message and the narrative?
I think it's knowing it is what it is, because it is a competition reality show.
Right.
What are you gonna get from it? Yeah. What people want to see, to tune in. For me, I'm appreciative of the opportunity it gave. So, like, ballroom people being in front of people like Issa Rae and Meg Thee Stallion and Keke Palmer. Wow. And I think Meg utilized Cheyenne. She was in season 1 and put her in the video.
So Cheyenne's from Rochester.
Oh, she is?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Rochester. Okay.
That's why I
think there's a Tilt. Is it Tilt Club?
Yes! Shut up!
I went to SUNY Brockport. I'm not lying.
That's wild.
So I'm grateful for the opportunity of it. Reality TV, you know, it's cute sometimes. It's crazy most of the time. Yeah. So it is what it is. But allowing, again, people to work those positions, to have an opportunity to get paid, to be seen, I'm here for that. As long as we know what we're signing up for, because, you know, at the end of the day, you can't sign the contract and then talk shit about it.
Fair.
What did we sign up for?
You know what you signed up for. Right. Fair.
So I'm going to say that for it.
Okay. I'll take that. All right. So this has been amazing. I appreciate you so much. Tell us what's next for you. I know that you are teaching.
Yes. So I teach at the Ailey Extension. I'm there in New York City, 55th Street, 9th Avenue, Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. I'm going back to teach at SUNY Purchase. I just created a 40 to 50 minute piece at it's called Outfront Festival, and it happened at the LGBT Center in New York City. So I'm hoping to shop this piece, set it in high schools. It's called Take a Good Look. So it's myself and 2 apprentices, and it was kind of creating a world of being queer, Latinx, and being self-reflective. So there's a moment where like my apprentices, they go and they play Fortnite, and there's like a whole video game station set up in the performance because that's a part of me.
That's who you are.
There's a setup of like a bar and a chair and a coffee, and it's a reminder of like my mentor who passed and kind of how he sat like in a classroom. So just creating a moment that is kind of like myself out and reflecting on the things that I am. I'm a voguer, I love to wear pumps, I dance like modern contemporary dance. I, at some point, pull out my diary and talk about my failed relationships with men because that is part of me. There's a moment where I dance bachata and I just cry on stage. So I really want to shop this piece and see how much I can expand it. Hoping to open a dance studio in Uptown Manhattan. So to just create that bridge, that access, more acting and more dancing, and just opening up more facets of myself. And in doing so, hoping to do the same for others.
You are so reflective. What do you think that is for you? Like, especially at this point in your career, a lot of people are on to the next, bigger, brighter, whatever, which is dope, do you.
Yeah.
But there's clearly so much like that you're reaching back for and pulling with you.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that is for you?
I think it's just growing up. Like, get it together. It's literally like, but what does that mean? It's so easy for someone to be like, you crazy. You're obstructive. You're chaotic. And I can hear all these things, but it's like, what is it? So I think taking time and looking and seeing it and cry about it and scream about it, laugh about it, just taking time to look within, because I feel like I thankfully had a gamble and was positioned to be prepared, let's say, to do a work like Pose.
Yeah.
Now I need to be consciously ready and prepared for whatever is next to come. That we can easily say that was a gamble. Anybody could have been the Lamar character.
Yeah.
But for me, I was the Lamar character. And now I want to be consciously prepared for whatever next position I'm to take to continue to help the world and change it and mold it, especially for my community. So for me, it was literally like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
So for what's to come.
Okay, so last question.
Yes.
Some little Dominican kid in the projects, in the city, living in a home where they're not fully understood or don't feel free to embody everything that they are.
Yeah.
Not yet. I think we've all been that kid to some capacity or another. Like, there's very rarely people, especially early on, to show you how to be queer and how to live in your body and love the skin that you're in and all of the things.
Yeah.
And that feels like a very lonely place when you haven't found your people.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to that kid?
Be patient. I tell the kid, be patient. Hold on to your pockets of happiness, because they're gonna grow, they expand, I promise. And know that you're gonna like create your crew. I'm such an anime head, like I love One Piece. Like you have to think this anime is like from episode 1 to like 1090. And at the end of the day, he's literally just building his family, is really what it feels like in a pirate sense. He finds these people and like literally drags them along to like explore the sea. So just be patient. Like, you're gonna build your group. Know that home is not biological nor physical. Know that it's created. Know that it is an environment. So know that even though home where you were raised or born, and if it doesn't feel comfortable or happy, know that you're gonna create one that feels happy and incredible and amazing. So I think patience and hold on to your pockets that make you happy, and know that as you grow and as you get more access, and also look for community, look for access of community. Who is a queer father figure, a mother figure, a friend, a sibling that can just help you along your way. But that all comes with patience. So I would just say be really patient, because it'll be worth it.
You know, it's funny, like I always think about that, like as queer adults, how incredibly important it is to reach back to kids, because it does seem like it's like forever.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yes.
when you're young, everything seems like
it's funny.
1,000 years away.
I like game with my kids and I like beat them up. I'm like, I'm the winner. But I'm like, this is what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just in front of a TV in my pocket of happiness. And it did feel like forever, but
And then all of a sudden.
But then it's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
We've moved on. So.
This was such a joy.
Thank you.
You just like glow.
Thank
you
you.
have this like glow.
The moisturizer helps.
It's what it is. It's what
it helps a little bit. It's not the whole thing.
A little bronzer on the cheekbones.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are such a joy. This was amazing. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see all the things you do next.
Yes, please be ready. So.
Where can everybody follow you? Tell us where your social media and all your stuff.
Website jasonarodriguez.com, on Instagram at the Jason A. Rodriguez. I would say those are kind of my two main places to find me. You can find me at the Leigh School, and then go from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Leigh.
This
was so good.
Yes.
I love that.
Okay.
All right, so they